Hello, my name's Ross Waterston, the creator and founder of Geordie Intelligence, the YouTube channel you're watching now, and Geordie Consulting, our consultancy business offering Power Platform consultancy services to businesses of all sizes. Wow, that just rolls off the tongue. What I wanted to talk to you today about as we start semester 3 was that wider piece, isn't it? In terms of actually what is Power BI when you actually put it into an enterprise or even just a small business? Because no matter what you're doing, there's a lot more to Power BI than I think is inherently obvious and is often one of those things that just gets missed. So I thought, let's take the time now, okay, and go through exactly what we mean, because there's a lot to unpack and there's a lot of benefit that really your business and your organization can get from starting to embrace these simple principles of Power BI and of being able to really expand and utilize your data. Especially because as you do that, the value of your data actually increases. And in my view, it's almost an exponential increase rather than kind of just a hierarchical one. So logarithmic, anyway, yeah, arithmetic versus logarithmic, yeah. But yeah, let's have a look and see what that looks like. But first, let's do the boring bit. Geordie Intelligence is a YouTube channel. YouTube operates by saying, oh, how many people subscribe to you? How many people watch your videos? How many people like them? How many people comment? So help YouTube understand that this channel is reasonable, I hope. And if you like the content, like the videos, add a comment. Tell me what you think, tell me what you like, what you don't like. If you don't like the videos, put thumbs down. You know, I'm quite happy to see those as well. It's important that we understand that we're helping you, and if there's bits we're missing or not giving you enough detail on, that you tell us, because I've got no problem reshooting additional bits, putting additional video content in, but you have to say. And remember the most important thing, there's no such thing as a stupid question, only a stupid answer. So the pressure is always on us to deliver for you guys. So here we are, okay, in the Power BI service. And this really is one of those hub things that you've got in Power BI and that I think is really important that you understand and grasp. So this was the dashboard that we put together for the single pane of glass reporting. Now, we need to be really clear. Power BI has a specific dashboard element, and it's not what most people mean when they say dashboard. In Power BI senses, what you would say when most people say dashboard is report. And report is report, dashboard and report are dashboards. Dashboards within Power BI are menus, okay? Just think of them as a menu system. There's nothing else to think about. It is a menu to make it easy for people to see content and bring it to the surface and then go on and explore it. Deliberately, this dashboard is made up to be kind of horrible, okay? Partly to show what goes on with the dashboard and what it does, but also just so that it's clear. So what we've got here is these 3 New York data sets that we run with and that we used for this single pane of glass report pack. And it's important that you recognize this because there's 3 things going on with this. So firstly, obviously we've got 3 different data sets within it. So we've got the New York yellow taxi data, we've got the city bike, so the bike hire, and we've got the rooftop water tower inspections data. Those are 3 different data models. Okay? Now, or semantic models as it is now. Now within a Power BI report, you can only be running a report against a single semantic model. Okay? You can, before anybody puts in the comments, oh, we can use hybrid models. Yes, you can. And a hybrid model, you'd be creating a new semantic model. So you've got one model within that report, but it's a hybrid model, which potentially doesn't exist anywhere else, which is just, please don't do it, okay? No. What we've got here, though, is the ability to actually bring them together up to the front so we can see it. And this is one of those models that kind of has ended up being, I recommend it to a lot of clients because it works very well. But, you know, for you, it might not work for you. It's just kind of this kind of mindset around it. So what it is we've got 3 distinct areas. So we've got 3 columns that we put in place. So if we put in, is it this? Pick the pointer, control, right. So we've got column 1, yeah. column 2, and then kind of column 3, okay? And because you're using columnar structures, it makes it easy for the mind or for the eye to read. But remember, we read left to right, don't we? Okay, so by having then a bar across here, let's go back to here, pointer, we've got core KPIs and core metrics across this piece. So we're actually looking straight away, aren't we, and seeing, right, what needs to be done here? Okay, this could be the top bits that we've got. And then below it, we start to get into more specific areas around that focus of this business area. So you end up with quite a good structure that you've got kind of your departmental reports, or if you're a big business, you can have like your organizational structures going through. You know, if you're a big multinational with lots of different divisions that are properly separate entities, you could have those there. And then obviously you can have a structure within this because dashboards can link to dashboards. But the key thing is that, when we come out of here, what this does is it makes it all interactive. So we've got here this inspections by year. Like, so we've got this many. So I can click on it and it will take me to a report page that relates to that came from. So what we're actually seeing on the dashboard is a pointer. And that pointer that goes back is the key. That we've got the ability then to piece together everything across our organization, pick key areas and metrics and surface them up, that triggers so that you've got that one place, that one page view of everything that is going on across your organization. So if we go back to here, okay, we've got this clear menu system, haven't we? So we've got multiple structures. We've got it laid out in a way that is easy to be understood and accessible to our audience. Obviously, don't do this kind of like with blue and white and with blue charts on it. The point was always around showing that this is blocks, is what we wanted you to see. Okay, that's also the limitation. You're kind of stuck to these like little blocks. This is like a 1 block unit, and then we've got these which are 6 block units, I think. So you kind of, or even 9. But you can piece together, you can go on, and they can go down vertically, so you can carry those on down, or they can go horizontally, so you can have more stuff and scroll. But you can also have dashboards linked to dashboards. So because of that, what I mean by that, let's see, if we go out of here, I can't see my mouse again. If I go to edit, okay, I was in the app view for that. Right, and we look at the structure of it, you can see we've got here 2 dashboards. So if we come in here and open this dashboard and say, there we go. Okay. So what we can do is we can edit this. We can see if we can do things. We can also put in a custom link to an external or to something else. And we could bring in other things. So you can choose and create report pages that just have KPIs on them, surface them up to a dashboard, put the link going to a different page or to a different report. And that way you build stuff up. Now, the piece that this suddenly draws you into doing, okay, and this is again where suddenly it becomes, right, I now get it, this is a game changer, is that instead of having 1 report per data set, you'll have multiple. And you can see we have multiple reports coming into the same dashboard, but they don't necessarily, so in here we've got the bike aggregation, we've got the monthly, and we've got the yearly, we've got different stuff coming through. You can do all sorts with this. And in practice, what often happens and what we see with clients as we've gone through further with them, is each one of these would link back to a separate report that all ties back to the same semantic model, but detailed around being 1, maybe 2 pages of real high value insights into that 1 number. So that number surfaces and then you drill down into it. And what that does is this is the topic that we really are covering today. And this is around getting to that mindset that your Power BI environment is multi-layered, as opposed to just being it's a single data plane, we're just presenting everything in one. And I see it a lot. So I saw it in Reddit, a subreddit on Power BI just last week. Somebody said, oh, how do I hide a specific page? You don't, okay? Because your report should be small, compact, and very specific. So in terms of saying, well, we don't want this team to see it, potentially you put it in a different workspace, depends on what you're doing. Different workspace, when you're publishing it as an app, you use a different audience for that. There's lots of options available to you, but it's because you're not trying to do it in one big giant report that has everything. You have a semantic model that has everything that people need, and lots of reports that just connect into it and serve up the actual data and insights that are needed by the audience. Not one big giant report, lots of small. And because you're doing lots of small, and those small reports just contain visualizations, a lot of the questions that we also get in terms of how do you do data management and that kind of thing, and version control, they kind of fall out. Because one of the things that we talk about is, well, the published version is the version that we use, as opposed to saying, well, I'm going to keep a version repository offline for my reports, which of course you will do, but because people, as we can see here, have a tendency, or can, and the can is a lot more than I would say it should be. If I went into here and I'm about to go and present to my line management, and they say, or to my senior leadership team, and somebody says, oh, I don't like that blue, or oh, can we do something? And I quickly just go, oh, yeah, no problem, edit, and do it. Suddenly my offline version is different to the version that's published. And then the issue would be, if I went and did an update, I would do the update offline and publish it up. So in practice, what we tend to say is, if you're doing updates on a specific report here, so if we were coming here, say, right, we're going to update this report pack and do something, I would say whoever's doing it, whoever's assigned to do it, which, again, it's going to be one of us, and because it's just visuals, we don't need a multi-user environment. It's not multi-user. It's going to say, oh, right, Ross, can you go and add this, change this to, say, well, it might be one's coming up now. Can you change this to Azure Maps, for example? So I'd go File, I would come to download this file. Hey, it's not letting me download. Why is it not letting me download? Oh, probably because it was built online. This was built online, sorry. But normally you go download the file, do it. If it was built online, obviously you can't, so you would just go edit it, make the changes. But you get to that point where, because they're just 1 or 2 pages of visuals, there's no requirement for source control as such. Okay. This is one of those reasons as well why we talk about what are we going to do with naming conventions for measures, because it needs to be obvious to people that measure exists within that report only, as opposed to being one of the ones that's existing in the core semantic model. And it's one we need to agree those terms, and I would say definitely have that discussion internally and work out what works for you. But anyway, I digress. Let's carry on. So the other thing that we've got, as we say, is this brings in the idea of layering, doesn't it? So we're over here in our Newcastle Park Runs report, which is just a nice one because it kind of shows a lot of the value of layering. So if you think, we've got a dashboard right at the top, haven't we? So we've got this idea of having a dashboard that's just the top level menu that will drive you down to the next level down. Okay, for this one, because this is a report that's going to be published free, what we can't do is we can't use Power BI dashboards. I can only use a single report. You can't really have people linking between reports in a free report. It just doesn't work. I mean, Microsoft, I get it. It makes sense. I'm not going to criticize it. It's something that they really do not recommend doing. I like doing this for things that I want you guys to see and to think about. But yeah, in terms of practical senses for the real world, don't. Okay. So what we have is we can hover over here though, can't we? And see. So if we hover over Jasmine Dean, you see it brings up a tooltip. Okay, it tells me some information. So in my mind, and again, I'm quite a visual person, like spatial is a big thing for me. So we've got that top level menu, that dashboard that allows me to drill down to get to the report. I'm at the report level here. I can hover over something and it's showing me something above it, isn't it? It's showing me that layer, that sample bit of information. So I'm suddenly seeing a lot more about what's going on. Oh, okay, so I can see Jasmine Dean. We've got who's like the current streak holders, what's the average participation, how many people have had overall. We can do the same for Town More. It updates, we can do, we've got all that capability there. What we can also do is if we hover over on something else, it tells us something different. So we can see the volunteer ratios or how many people have volunteered at a particular time. And again, we can come to see who the main volunteers are for anywhere in that. Okay, and we get lots of information out just from seeing those. And then because of that structure, what we can then do is if we click on something, as you see here, we get the drill through. So this drill through helps further. So the interactivity of Power BI is the bit I want you to see here. Yeah. So overall, it's what we're here. Yeah. I hover, and I get that insight, that showing over everything. This is the detail that you might be looking into. So I've got more information, more insight coming out. If I click on that, the cross-highlighting or the cross-filtering functionality that Power BI has takes over, and everything on the page updates to be telling me specific information about this, yeah, about whatever it is I've selected. So you could imagine this is about parkruns. This could be your departments. This could be your stores. You know, if you're like, say, running a McDonald's franchise in Newcastle, or sorry, let's be more on brand. If you're running a Greggs franchise in Newcastle, or if you're Greggs, looking at your Greggs stores in Newcastle, you could see what are the daily sales, what's the last month, what's whatever. You know, all that could be built onto the tooltip. You click on it, and suddenly we're seeing more information at our top level that we wanted to see, but actually broken down specifically for that. And then what we've got here. So we've got the ability as well in here to drill through. Now, you do have that option on the right-click menu. You've got drill through. Okay, but we've put it as a button as well, just to help make it easier. And now we can drill through. So I think, this is kind of like that drilling down, isn't it, into that more detailed view of what's happened with something. And we've gone here now to a different layer, haven't we? So we've kind of dropped down another layer. So we've gone from, if you imagine a dashboard at the top, we went down to this. This is now going to show us this, like if we, like Greg's top level dashboard with like retail, so the actual sales, you have manufacturing, because it's some, or bakery, I don't know. Well, yeah, they prepare stuff off site and then bring it to the site and finish the baking. Then you've got the idea of it going through into potentially HR or other corporate side, like that you'd have marketing, different columns, wouldn't you, within our dashboard. So we've gone through into our retail side, saying and here's the map with all the stores. Clicked on it to go into the specifics of it, and we've now got, say, a daily or a monthly breakdown. Potentially we could drill down further within there and have an additional going down into a daily. But for me, interactively, I haven't had to do an awful lot. I've kind of gone to one place, the insights are all there for me. Again, over here, if we hover, we see different insights come up. So in terms of a breakdown of male versus female, we've got the age group breakdown again as well. Further things all there to try and help serve up information quickly and easily. We've also got on here, in terms of the color coding, so conditional formatting to really show different things as well. What we're looking at here is the age grade performance. And one of the things they talk about is that age grade should decrease over time in a parkrun, because as an event becomes more inclusive and starts to be embraced more within the area, it should have more people doing it, and we do have more people. We also see the age grade percentage has gone down. So what we're seeing is that it's becoming more accessible. So we're having less elites and more everyone, which is what we want. That's what parkrun's about. We want everyone involved, everyone wanting to do it. So great, we've got that. So we've got these ideas, haven't we, here? We can see lots of stuff happening. Again, we've got this one, 7th of September, so this was Great North Run weekend last year. We can click on that, we see everything updates, and we can then see we've got a drill through again that we can use. So we can go and let's drill through again to a next level down. So we've gone, we keep drilling down and going through it, but I'm not having to go away and get more information or sounds, oh, can you find out what happened there? Can you do that? Oh, can you do that? So we've got everything that we could want here. And then what we also have is we've got the ability now, again on these, so we can choose to go through and drill through and see somebody else. I'm going to find someone who I know has done quite a few of these. I shouldn't have picked one that was quite so busy, should I? Gosh, I wrote there, Libby. Okay. So we can choose, go through and see that person's personal record across what they've done across the Newcastle events, and we can then do that. So suddenly we've gone from that quite narrow context to we've expanded, haven't we? And we've seen suddenly, well, there's more information there, and this is now going to show me everything that this person has done across the 4 events that we're tracking. So you can see, you can do that. So you could imagine you could do something similar with your customers if you were looking at doing a customer report, going through and really getting into that information about specifics of what's going on at any given point. And then suddenly you expand that customer and it shows you everything they've done, not just at one place. So for, say, a Tesco's, which everyone knows that's really what the club card's about. You did know that, didn't you? It's about tracking you. But you can suddenly actually see, well, actually, what have they done across the piece, rather than just looking at that detail, but still see and understand that breakdown. So there's a lot of power within Power BI that is encouraged for you. Now, one of the things that I've touched on, and it's always really difficult to do in terms of in our demo environments, because we aren't doing stuff which is rich enough and complex enough to be real. It's kind of, yes, these are real examples, but I wouldn't go through the route of doing it. In practice, what I would probably do with a lot of these things is go through and say, right, we're going to piece together and put in multiple reports, one for each one, but because we want to publish it, it's just difficult. So you'd have lots of different layers going through, rather than having one report pack that needs governance. The other thing, and I want to check, I'm pretty sure this is the right one, that you do. So we had that idea of drill through, where you go and actually drill, which is more of a drill down, I think, but drill down is also with hierarchies within a visual, where you can go from weekly, from yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, whatever, okay? So you can do all that. But we've also got the ability to do something like this. So this is one of the ones that we built for the New York water tower inspections. And it's kind of like, the idea was, look, we can make a certificate you can kind of print off. So you'd go do your inspection and then get there and then say, right, okay, I've done this, go and print that off. You could then say, display it in your building, okay? And this is an external report, okay? So you have to enable that, yes, you can do external drill through. In the other report that you're going to drill through it from, you have to say, yes, this can be external drill through. They both have to say, yeah. And then it becomes available that you've got an additional drill through option. Let's see if we can demonstrate it to you. So what's the best way to really show kind of what we mean when we talk about the abilities to really drill and explore data? Let's go here, right? We've got the New York water tower here. The external drill is the key thing that we want to have a look at here today, isn't it? So we've got this one here, 451 Clarkson Street, or Clarkson Avenue, sorry, okay? You can right click on it, and under drill through, you see we've got 2 options here. So we've got a details, which is here in this one, but we've also got, and let me zoom in, we've also got this second one, this inspection report, and then square brackets, something else. So that's kind of the thing, isn't it? That there's actually a second report, it's an external report. So you can build drill throughs up that are separate from everything and then have much more detail and explore those. You've got the capability with the drill through that we've shown already in terms of, do we retain our filter structures so that we actually are narrowing in on the insights, or do we use it to then say, well, this is just the pointer, now give me everything here. And then again, you can drill and explore down that way. So the core that you have to understand here is that to get the most out of Power BI, we really need to be able to use, let's just go through that, sorry, just so for the sake of it, we really need to be able to use something that's going to allow us to pick and choose from multiple aspects of what it is we're doing, because that layering is what's key. So by having a mindset that's going to support layering, you start to build up the idea that we're going to have a semantic model that's going to have lots and lots of report content. And I'll put up a screenshot here of one from years and years ago we had with 30 or so reports on it. I was trying to find one because the one that we've got with the most was over, I think it was 117 reports connected to it. And that was just the reports. I know there was a similar number of Excel spreadsheets that were also connected to it. So when you think through how much is the business gaining from that semantic model, plus, and this is the other piece, what's the efficiency saving that your BI team, your data team are managing one refresh as opposed to 30 or 40 different refreshes? It's worth thinking about. So what do you reckon then? Okay, now we've always wanted to have this conversation and really show this video and do this talk. I'd hoped it was going to be a bit later in the season. Partly it's because as I was looking at the more advanced things I wanted to do in here, it kind of came clear that, well, we haven't had this discussion about layers and why we would have layers and think about layers within Power BI and understanding that we've got dashboards. And then thinking, of course, it's not just that simple, is it? Because yes, we've got dashboards, but is there a layer above a dashboard? And there is, isn't there? There's kind of, you've got your app audiences above that, and then above that, you've got your app. So once you start to really understand what is going on with Power BI and really what it brings to the table for your consumption layer and for your data, data consumption is probably the right way, in terms of it. That it's not about saying we're going to have a point report here and a point report there. We've built that idea of a functional area so that you as an analyst, you as a member of the C-suite, you as a member of the sales team go to one place. That one place has that one app that you will access that has all the content that you will need to do your job there, and hopefully some additional content that just helps your job as opposed to being like, this is what I have to do. There's other things there, and we can start to piece together and understand that as that happens, and that semantic model that you've got is servicing multiple different apps all over the business, and people's individual, I wonder if, what does that mean? You suddenly realize that this changes the whole way that you do business and that your business will run because of what Power BI brings. So it's kind of, you need to understand it. And in terms of the Power BI 101, it's definitely one of those theory things you really need to understand because it will change what goes on. And you suddenly realize that the savings that you get from Power BI really just like the total cost of ownership of Power BI just starts to fall off a cliff because you're getting so much more value from it that for all, yes, your total cost of ownership potentially is going up as you're getting more licenses and things like that in your business. Because it's the efficiency savings, the actual real cost that it brings, it starts to diminish because the value proposition of what was there increases. So I hope that makes sense. Yeah. If you want some common sense, down-to-earth consulting, get in touch with Geordie Consulting. Got a link down below to request an initial meeting with us. It's a free meeting, might as well have a talk, understand what your needs are, we'll support you, and we can then work out the best way forward. For now though, stay safe, take care, ta-da.